Hello, everybody. This is Dave, Travels in Time. How is everybody? So sorry I haven't been streaming, but I will be tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming at 9 in the morning till 11 or 10:30. So I'm going to make up. Sorry I haven't been streaming, but I'm going to schedule it right now. So today I'm going to be doing my Obi-Wan review. And what did I think of Obi-Wan? I said before I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was decent, surprisingly. The Disney stuff has been hit or miss, honestly. With the Mandalorian was awesome, Rogue One was awesome. The Disney trilogy was just meh, wasn't my favorite. Solo was just okay. But Obi-Wan I actually surprisingly enjoyed, and I did like how it began with the flashbacks of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I did like how it started off with that, and then the confrontation of on Mustafar with Obi-Wan with Anakin. That Obi-Wan had to go there. Yoda instructed him he had to face him. And obviously that was extremely hard for Obi-Wan, especially after seeing the footage of him killing the younglings at the Jedi Temple. So yeah, and I liked how it started off though with that, and then it shows him waking up. So obviously he has extreme PTSD, which makes sense after experiences that. He's probably dealt with that for years. Obi-Wan. So obviously he's on Tatooine at this point. He's been there over 10 years because he's guarding Luke, basically, Luke Skywalker, and of course. Obviously. And then there are Sith. They're on the hunt for Last Jedi. They're on the lookout. These Inquisitors, they're called. So one is the Grand Inquisitor, played by Rupert Friend. He's the main one. And he doesn't look as creepy as he does in the Star Wars Rebels. So I feel like the makeup was done better, but what can you do? Yeah, it works for what it is. And then, of course, we have the Asian looking one, which is the Inquisitor and him and Reva do not get along. Now, she has an interesting backstory. Moses Ingram's character. And I'll get to that in a bit. So basically, Obi-Wan's working at this meat plant, basically. That's his job for the day. And then he feeds his camel at the end, when he goes home, in his secluded little spot he sleeps in, his little hut. And, he's just basically safeguarding Luke. And there's this one person that knows he's a Jedi, and are you Obi-Wan? And of course he denies it. He's like, no, the Jedi Order is gone. Go about your business. And this person actually does kill himself. Because he didn't find any help. It's a sad part, unfortunately, that that person, killed himself. It's sad. But anyway, the Inquisitors are looking for future Jedi, and somehow Reva senses Obi-Wan and is on the lookout, calls him old man. He's like, I know who you are, old man. We will find you, kind of thing. I will find you. And now she has an interesting backstory, and I'll get to that. And the Inquisitors start, threatening people, and then, Reva threatens to, kill Luke's uncle, which was interesting. That was an interesting part. Uncle Owen. And Uncle Owen and Obi-Wan don't really get along because, he knows Obi-Wan is there to, train him later on in the ways of the Force and become a Jedi. And Owen is totally against the Jedi Order, and he's like, remember what happened to Anakin, Luke's dad, And, what's interesting in this is Obi-Wan does not know that Anakin / Darth Vader, known as Darth Vader now, is still alive. He doesn't know it. And that's what I've always found interesting, is the fact that he didn't sense that at first. But in this story, it makes sense, because I'll get into that, because the fact he left him for dead, he basically thought that, no, he was gonna die, Anakin, but obviously he took his lightsaber, and of course that'll be referenced in Episode 4, where or A New Hope, where Obi-Wan gives Anakin his lightsaber. I mean, Obi-Wan gives Luke his lightsaber. I call him Anakin. Oops. But yeah, this storyline's interesting. And then we go to the second episode where basically there's a fight. And then Obi-Wan finds out that Darth Vader is still alive. / Anakin. And he puts two and two together, and of course he's mortified, and he's got severe PTSD from that. And so eventually, and then he gets help from this one character, which was Tala. And she's a former Imperial officer who doesn't really want to work for the Empire, and she helps Obi-Wan out. So that part was good. And then helps Leia out, because basically they're on the lookout because, Leia was kidnapped and she went missing. And then he fights off these crooks and scavengers, and, comes to her rescue because, Bail Organa, the dad, the adopted dad of Leia. And, first Obi-Wan declines it. He doesn't want to help. He's like, I'm not doing that stuff anymore. But eventually he realizes, and he's like, okay, I'll help. Because Bail comes to Tatooine to see Obi-Wan. So, yeah, there was a lot of interesting Now, the backstory of Reva Savander, who wants to be the main Inquisitor. Now, she has an interesting backstory. There's a catch to her. There's a twist to her. So basically, she is a former Jedi youngling, and she witnessed the slaughter of the younglings of the Jedi Temple by Anakin / Darth Vader when he turned to the dark side. So obviously, she has extreme PTSD, but he actually surprisingly did not kill her. He let her live, and he helped train her. So that was an interesting twist that I found very interesting. And basically, she wants to get to him, and at some point, she thinks destroy him for what he did. So that was an interesting. I did like that twist to it. I thought that made the story interesting, and her backstory about that was interesting. Now, at the end, when she tries to in the middle of that, when she tries to get at Darth Vader, she didn't stand a chance. He basically just takes her down. It's a good scene, though. And Darth Vader's done really well in this as well. I feel like it's cool seeing Darth Vader in full form again, and played by Hayden Christensen, who obviously played Anakin in the prequels. So it's cool to have that. And then to have the, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, and him face to face again, is just cool. So there's a lot of stuff here. And so basically unfortunately Talia dies in the middle of the slaughter when, Reva and all of them come to attack the rebels. And that's sad. Her character was very interesting and well done. That she was a former Imperial. And I like that storyline of her character. And you could see Obi-Wan's emotions of that loss when she dies. That was excellent. So yeah, I actually did enjoy this for what it, it's not, is it perfect? No. Do I actually surprisingly recommend it? Yeah. Well, I was not expecting that. Now, there's a few interesting things about this too. Other things. So basically they have their face off, right? Darth and Obi-Wan. So I do like this scene, and it makes sense for the continuity. Actually, I know some people complained about that, but it actually makes sense when they go face to face on that one planet, and Obi-Wan thinks this is the end for him. He thinks he's gonna die, but he's willing to because he's like, okay, I'll become one with the Force, be a Force spirit. But in the confrontation, you get to see the mask off of Darth, and that's intense. And that was intense and then he says, it wasn't your fault. I decided to be Darth Vader. I am. There is no more Anakin. It is only Darth Vader. So in a way that makes sense because in the original trilogy, he says he's more machine now than man, twisted and evil, which is basically what he is now, and that he's Darth Vader now and no longer Anakin Skywalker. So that in that sense, it does make sense. And even in episode 4, where they go, Darth Vader goes, "We meet again at last. I was but a learner, but now I am the master." And, obviously Obi-Wan calls him Darth, which makes sense because in this scene, he says, "I'm Darth Vader. I'm not Anakin Skywalker anymore." So it actually bridges the gap with those really well. So then Reva goes in search to kill Luke. Now this is one point that to me I was confused about. How in the world did she know that Luke was the son of Darth Vader? How did she put that 2 and 2 together? Did she somehow read Obi-Wan's mind or something? That part I was confused about. Because she goes to Tatooine to basically kill him. Kill the last of the Skywalkers, basically. The last Skywalker. So somehow she knew that was the son of Darth Vader. So that wasn't made clear at all. So that part I was confused about. But anyway, luckily Obi-Wan comes to the rescue. And he saved, and then she decided, luckily, not to kill Luke at the end. And she kind of goes to the ground, and obviously she's very damaged emotionally. She's got issues. And he's like, "Stop this hatred anymore, do what you want with your life." And, he picks her up. Good scene from both. And then Owen starts to, be more chill about Obi-Wan. He lets Obi-Wan see Luke, for the first time properly, and he gives him a little ship. So I thought that was cool. And then at the very end, we get to see spoilers again. Qui-Gon Jinn is back, played by Liam Neeson, and as a Force spirit. And he's like, "Master Qui-Gon," Obi-Wan says. And, he's like, and it's a cool little scene. So yeah, I'll give this a 7.5. I'm not going to give it an 8 or 9 or 10, but I'll give it a 7.5. It has its good moments, and I do like the relationship between Obi-Wan and Leia. Their relationship in this is interesting. Her as a little girl, I thought that was cute. And yeah, Ewan obviously does an excellent job. All of the cast do a pretty good job, actually. I must say. And it was cool seeing Hayden back again, obviously, as the Darth Vader / Anakin. There was a cool little scene, actually. I forgot that there was a clip where they're training, right? And it's basically set during the episode 2 era from the prequels. And it's a cool scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin. It shows a flashback. And I thought that was cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to give this a 7.5. Got sniffles. Yeah, so 7.5 out of 10. Check it out. And give it a shot. And if you don't like it, that's fine, too. No worries. I'm just surprised I enjoyed it as much as I did compared to the sequel trilogy. And, I definitely enjoyed this more. So, yeah. All right, guys, that's my review of Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor, excellent job, of course. Obviously, he's Obi-Wan, always good. Joel Edgerton, it was cool seeing him back. He was in episode 2 and 3 as Owen. and then Baru as well. Her character, and then obviously Jimmy Smits. He does a good job as the adopted Bail Organath, adopted dad of Leia, and Ian McDermott, Emperor Palpatine. He does have a short scene there where he's like, give up on trying to defeat Obi-Wan. You have more important tasks to worry about, Kenobi. And that was an interesting scene. And it's interesting the way he talked in that scene too, where he's like, he talks much softer, almost like in his Palpatine persona when he was senator, compared to how when he's, Sidious and Emperor Palpatine. So that was interesting. Yeah, so Ian McDermott, obviously excellent. Zach Braff, he was good. The voice. And then Luke, the kid actor who played Luke, did a good job too. I don't think he looks much like Mark Hamill, but that's okay. But he did a decent job. So yeah, that's my review. All right, take care, and I'll do a live stream tomorrow reading more of my comic books. I'll do the Batman Greatest Story Ever Told. I'll read some more of this tomorrow. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm going to take care. If you like what you see, subscribe to my channel. Peace. Bye for now.